I was having a great conversation with our team the other day, and we were talking about children and whether or not it's better for them to do everything you did growing up, right? If you had to start from the bottom and work your way to wherever you are today, is that the same life that you want for your kids? Do you want them to struggle in the way you struggled? Do you want them to feel the things you felt? Do you want them to use the push mower? And I don't mean the one that had a motor. I mean the old school one with dull blades from like the 1930s that my dad let me use to cut the neighbor's yard for 3 hours to make $5. Like, do I want my boys to do that? Or do I want to take where we're at today and give them a leg up? Do I want to have some level of a starting point that's better? I was always challenged with this, and one of the things I can share with you as a young financial advisor and starting in this business, I took out loans for college. My parents helped wherever they could, but I had the debt and I had the payments, and I vowed I was never going to pay for my kids' college. I mean, it was just fundamental to me. And I don't believe the same thing today. And it's a lot to do with the savings and financial security that I've tried to build for our family. And I can't say it will always be perfect, but I can definitely say my logic has shifted. I would rather them have a leg up. Now, what kind of college, what type of education they do, that could be a whole nother discussion for another day. But the point that I'm making is that leg up, do we want them to start the business from scratch? Or do you want them to learn the business you already started and grow in it and take it to a level that you couldn't get there? Maybe they can get it there, maybe they can't. These are really good questions, something that I listen to in this office many, many times. These are conversations I have with our friends. Just being surrounded by great people, living in an area or being surrounded by business owners, for example. My boys sometimes have opportunities I didn't have growing up. If I wanted to get a job at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, I knocked on doors and asked if I could mow the lawn. Now, they could do that now, but it's not always as easy. And there are certainly different things in different neighborhoods and different dynamics. But if you live in a neighborhood and you're sitting around people that own some businesses and they say, hey, your boys are a good age, why don't they come work for me one day? All of a sudden, isn't that a leg up? Isn't that a different thing than push mowing the lawn the way that you had to? Or maybe it's giving them some more time in sports. You see parents nowadays, saying, oh, my kids don't have time to work. I hated going to school, then soccer practice, or soccer practice and then washing dishes at the local restaurant until 11 o'clock at night because it was the only job I could get while I still played sports. I'd love for my kids to be able to rest, recover, put more effort into school. Is that me providing them a leg up? Or is that make them go through the same thing I did? I struggle with that personally because I want them to feel it sometimes. But I also know that it's better to take the education and the life that you've been given and where you're at today, what you've earned, what you've worked for, take those lessons and teach from that point forward. That's really the point that I believe in. I don't know that it's right or wrong, but you'll talk to the old school people who say, oh, they should do it the same way I did. They should do everything the same way because they'll never appreciate the dollar they're earning if they don't build it from the bottom. And you'll meet other people that'll say, that's really small thinking. That's really pushing them into a position where you could elevate them to a level well beyond where you are. And you see generational wealth do this all the time. Generational wealth takes their kids and they invest in them. They help them think like entrepreneurs. They don't have to become an entrepreneur. They're grown from entrepreneurism, and it's something that's fundamental because it's fundamental in you. So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. I'm learning as I go. My kids are just approaching the teenage years, so there's a lot to learn. I'd love to hear your ideas. If you have other ideas below, share with me what's on your brain. Where do you believe? Where do you fall in that line? Do they start from the bottom? Do they have to scratch all the way up? Do you give them a leg up? What do you feel is most important? And what does that look like to you? Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott Danner with Freedom Street Partners. I'd love to hear your mindset on this topic. Thanks for helping me.